Hi friends, welcome to our channel A to Success. இந்த வீடியோவில் PGTRB Zoology Unit 1 Comparative Anatomy of Vertebrates Integument கான short notes பார்க்கலாம். Integument is a multicellular and multi-layered outermost covering of body in all vertebrates. It is the largest organ of the body derived from ectoderm and mesoderm in origin. Integument lies in direct contact with the external environment. It is modified in various ways in different groups of vertebrates. It includes the skin and its derivatives such as scales, hairs, feathers, horns, hooves, nails, etc. It has outer thin epidermis and inner thick dermis. Epidermis is ectodermal in origin and dermis is mesodermal in origin. The integument or skin of vertebrates performs several important functions. Thus, it is called jack of all trades. Functions of integument. First one, protection. The skin separates the animal body from its external environment. It protects the body from mechanical and chemical injuries. Protective derivatives such as scales, bony plates, fat, feather, hairs, etc. reduce the force of injury, prevent excessive loss of body moisture, and do not allow the entry of harmful bacteria and fungi and other foreign bodies. Fur, plumage, bristles or spines, claws, nails, hooves, horns, etc. serve for offense and defense. Protective coloration helps to escape from enemies. Skin pigments also protect against solar radiation. Second function, locomotion. Dermal fin rays in the fins of fishes and skin webs in the feet of frogs, turtles, aquatic birds help in swimming in water. Adhesive pads and claws on digits assist in climbing. Feathers on wings and short tail of birds and cutaneous patagia or wings of bats, lizards and squirrels help in flying. Third function, secretion. Skin glands secrete substances having several uses. Mucus gland in aquatic forms in fish and frogs keeps the skin moist and slippery. Poisonous, bitter or offensive secretions also protect from enemies. Oil from sebaceous glands of mammals lubricates the skin and hairs. Odor of scent glands attract the opposite sex. Mammary glands manufacture milk for nourishment of the young one. Tears from lacrimal glands wash the conjunctiva of mammalian eyeball and keep the eyes clean. Glands of auditory meatus secretes an air wax, the cerumen, to grease eardrums. Urophageal glands in birds secrete oil for preening of feathers. Food storage. Thick and fatty layer under skin of whale and seal serves as insulation as reserve food. Temperature control. In warm-blooded animals, fur, feathers and scales insulates and conserve body heat in cold climate. Excretion. Excess of water, salts and urea are also eliminated in sweat. Sensation. Cutaneous nerve endings and other sense organs are stimulated by touch pain, changes in pressure and moisture, extreme of heat, cold and chemicals, etc. In some amphibians and other aquatic vertebrates, skin acts as respiratory surface. Next, we can see about the structure of integument. In all vertebrates, the integument consists of two parts. First one, epidermis or the outer layer. Second one, dermis or the inner layer. Epidermis. Epidermis is a stratified epithelium. It is ectodermal in origin and forms thin layer of epithelium over the entire body as skin. This layer may contain sensory cells, light organs, etc. It is divided into two sublayers, that is stratum corneum and stratum germinativum. Stratum corneum, this is the outermost layer of dead cells. Its cells accumulate a horny protein called keratin, gradually die and eventually wear off in the form of scruff or dandruff. Since keratin is tough and insoluble in water, the keratinized stratum corneum provides protection against mechanical injuries, microbes and germs, and loss of body moisture. Stratum germinativum, this is the inner layer of cuboidal cells and is also known as stratum Malpighian layer. In higher vertebrates, this layer remains stratified in several layers of cells and it is separated by a basement membrane. Next, the second layer is dermis layer. It is inner layer of skin. It is comparatively thicker than epidermis and is made up of fibrous connective tissue which contains many blood capillaries, lymph vessels, muscle fibers, nerve fibers, sensory organs, and elastic fibers which provide shape to the skin. Pigmented cells or melanocytes are mostly found in the dermis layer. Fat may accumulate as reserve food in special cells, adenocytes, in deeper parts of dermis and in the subcutaneous tissue. Next, we can see about the comparative anatomy of integument. First one, integument in fishes. The skin of fishes remain coated with the protective mucus and may contain some specialized structures like poison glands and photophores. The epidermis lacks stratum corneum. Dermis gives rise to dermal scales in fishes. It bears chromatophores. Next, integument of amphibia. The amphibian skin is thin and less intimately attached to the underlying muscles due to numerous large subcutaneous lymph spaces beneath dermis. In aquatic forms, stratified epidermis often exhibits a thin stratum corneum of flat and dead keratinized cells. Amphibians are the lowest vertebrates, having abundant multicellular skin glands. The mucus secretion keeps the skin moist and also permits respiratory gaseous exchange through richly vascular skin. Many amphibians have poison glands whose toxic secretions protect from enemies. Skin of Labyrinthodontia was heavily armed with dermal scales which are absent in modern amphibians. Integument of reptiles. Thick, dry skin, stratum corneum heavily keratinized, forms scales all over and claws in the digit tips. Epidermal scaly exoskeleton is shed periodically as a whole in snails and fragments in others. Glands are lacking altogether. Dermis contains abundant chromatophores, forms dermal bony plates in some cases. Example, tortoise, turtles, crocodiles. Skin color changes occur in chameleons and bloodsuckers. Integument of birds. Thin, dry skin, stratum corneum is keratinized. It forms feathers, scales and claws on feet, horny sheath on jaws to form beak. Glands lacking except oil gland on tail, pigment confined to feathers. Dermis has abundant receptors. Integument in mammals. The mammalian skin is thick, elastic, waterproof, and remains covered with hairs. The epidermis and dermis show a lot of specializations. They are as follows. Epidermis. This is very thick layer having the following sublayers. Stratum corneum. This is the topmost layer of epidermis. This is the outermost layer of dead, flattened and keratinized cells. In places of friction such as soles and palms, the stratum corneum is very thick. This layer is variously modified in various mammals to form epidermal scales, bristles, hairs, claws, nails, hooves and horns, etc. Next, the second layer is stratum lucidum. This is known as a barrier layer because its cells become compact and closely united. This layer contains a chemical known as elidin. Keratohyalin and elidin are intermediate products in the formation of keratin. Next, stratum granulosum. This is the third layer of epidermis. This layer is present below the stratum lucidum, which is having darkly staining granules of keratohyalin. Next, stratum spinosum. This is the fourth layer of epidermis. In this layer, the cells are held together by spiny intercellular bridges. Next, stratum germinativum, otherwise called Malpighian layer. This is the last layer of epidermis, rests on a thin basement membrane. The Malpighian layer forms new cells continuously, which move towards the surface and become flat and keratinized till the stratum corneum has flat. Next, dermis. This is highly developed, consisting of loose connective tissues, blood vessels and nerves. The upper part of dermis adjacent to basement membrane is called as papillary layer, below which the reticular layer lies. The dermis contains hair follicles, sebaceous glands and sweat glands, which are of epidermal in origin. Next, we can see about the derivatives of integument. There are two types of derivatives are found. First one is epidermal derivatives and dermal derivatives. First, epidermal derivatives. It includes epidermal glands, hard horny structure including epidermal scales, scutes, beaks, horns, claws, nails, hoof, feathers and hairs, etc. All the hard horny structure together forms exoskeleton of an animal. Epidermal glands. It is formed by the Malpighian layer of epidermis but often invade the dermis. They may be unicellular or multicellular, tubular or alveolar in shape, and simple, compound or branched. They are lined by cuboidal cells or columnar epithelium. They are usually named after their nature or function. They are as follows. Mucus glands. They secrete mucin, which forms slimy or sticky mucus with water. Mucus keeps the skin moist and slippery and protects against harmful bacteria and fungi. They are abundant in amphibian skin. They may be unicellular or multicellular. Examples are amphioxus, cyclostomes, fishes, etc. Next, sebaceous glands. These are branched alveolar glands opening into hair follicles of mammals. They may open directly onto skin surface such as around the genital organs, tip of nose or edge of lips. Their oily secretion called sebum keeps the skin hairs soft, greasy, waterproof. Sebaceous glands absent in pangolins and some marine mammals, which are devoid of hairs. Ceruminous glands of external air canals or modified sebaceous glands. Their waxy or greasy secretion called cerumen help to trap insects or dust particles. Meibomian glands of eyelids, which spread their oily secretion over the exposed surface of eyeball, are modified sebaceous glands. Next, urophageal gland. This type of integumentary gland found in birds, forming a prominent swelling just above the tail or urophagium. The oil secreted by it contains pomatum, which is picked up by beak and used for preening and waterproofing. This oily secretion used for lubricating beak, preening feathers, and attracting the opposite sex during breeding season due to odoriferous nature. Sweat glands. Sweat glands are sudoriferous glands are abundant in the skin of most mammals. Evaporation of watery perspiration helps to cool and regulate body temperature in hot environments. They are slender, coiled tubes embedded deep in dermis with their long ducts opening on skin surface. It regulates the body temperature. Sweat glands are absent in scaly anteater and marine mammals. In some animals, it occurs in the soles of feet, lips, etc. Ciliary glands and eyelashes and along margins of eyelids are modified sweat glands. Next, poison glands. Many fishes and amphibians have poison glands. They are modified multicellular cutaneous glands, larger but fewer than mucous glands. The parotid glands behind the head of toads are aggregation of poison glands. Secretion of poison glands may be bitter, irritating, and even dangerous to the predators. Next, luminescence glands are photophores. In deep sea luminescence teleost fishes, certain multicellular epidermal glands serve as light emitting organs known as photophores. Next, femoral glands. These are found in lizards on the ventral side of both thighs. The sticky secretion hardens in air to form temporary tiny spines that serve to hold the female at the time of copulation. Next, scent glands. These are modifications either of sebaceous or sudoriferous glands of mammals. Their odorous secretions serve to repel enemies or to attract the opposite sex. Scent glands may occur between toes on feet, in goat, rhinos, horse, near eyes on head, in deer family, around the anus, in many carnivores and rodents, etc. Mammary glands. These are compound tubular glands that produce milk during lactation period for feeding the young ones in mammals. One of the characteristics of mammals. Next, epidermal scales and scutes. They are developed by the accumulation of a protein known as keratin. All the stratum corneum cells are cornified and form horny, hard exoskeleton-like scales, hairs, beaks, horns, claws, nails, etc. in different vertebrates. In reptiles, having continuous outer covering of horny epidermal scales that prevent water loss through the skin surface. In snakes also the scales are overlapping, enlarged on head called shield and on the ventral surface called scutes, which aid in locomotion. Crocodiles and turtles have scutes. In birds, small scales are present on the long leg, foot and beak. In mammals like scaly anteater, the large scales on body. So we can see about the dermal derivatives. Dermal derivatives are dermal scales and scutes, digital cornification, horns, feathers and hairs. First one, dermal scales and scutes. Bony structures develop within the dermis or mesodermal in origin. Dermal scales in fishes. In fishes, scales form the exoskeleton 5 types of scales are known depending on their structure. First one, cosmoid scale, placoid scales, gonoid scales, cycloid scales, and ctenoid scales. Dermal scales and scutes in tetrapods. A few lizards exhibit small dermal scales. Crocodiles, alligators have many oval bony plates embedded in the dermis, and a turtle has large bony plates. Among the mammals, bony plates occurs in whales. Dermal fin rays supporting the fins of fishes or long, flexible fin rays embedded in the dermis. Digital cornification, they are modification of stratum corneum at the tip of the digits. Claws, a claw is made by a hard, pointed, narrow, horny, curved dorsal plates. It is found in reptiles, birds, and mammals. Nails, claws are modified into nails, which are characteristics of primates. Hooves, it is the characteristics of ungulates. Next, horns. Horns are found in hoofed mammals only. They are the organs of defense and offense. At least 5 types of horns are recognized, but all are not true horns. That is the product of stratum corneum. True horns are hollow horns, are found in both sexes of goat, cattle, sheep, and others. They are unbranched and cylindrical and tapering, permanent structures that continue to grow throughout life and never shed. Next, pronghorn. Pronghorns are true horns, but the horny sheath of pronghorn bears 1 to 3 branches and it sheds every year. The permanent bony core becomes the base around which a new horn is developed. Antlers. It is a characteristic of deer family. They only found on males. Antlers are annual growth and true horns. Giraffe horns. It is stunted, unbranched, and permanent antlers present in both sexes of giraffe. Each consists of a short bony dermal core covered with simple unmodified skin or velvet which is never shed. Next, hair horns. Hair horns or fiber horns are found in rhinoceros of both sexes, perched upon a roughened area of nasal bones. These horns are completely made of thick and keratinized epidermal fibers fused together. These are permanent structure. If broken, they again grow out. Feathers. Feathers are found only in birds. They are dry, non-living and cornified products of stratum corneum of epidermis. They are lightweight but strong and waterproof. They show colors due to the presence of pigments. They protect the body, conserve heat and broad surfaces of wings and tail for flight. Generally, 3 types of feathers are recognized: contour feather, down feather, and phyllo plumes. Next, we can see about hairs. Hairs are the characteristics of mammals. They may cover entire body or may be reduced to patches or to scatter hairs. Collectively, all the hairs of mammal are known as pelage. It is periodically lost and by molting and replaced by new one. Chief function of hairs seem to serve for insulation of body heat and sensitive tactile organ. Hairs have several modifications like bristle, quills or spine and horns, etc. Thank you for watching this video.